Have you ever thought about how to organize your life? Seriously, you're home, sitting in your office, and the question pops up in your mind: how can I get more organized? And if you're anyone who works from home or is a self employed entrepreneur, you ask yourself this question all the time. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Alice and I'm your communications coach. I also teach online education and I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to focus on ChatGPT and AI and all that fun stuff. But in this video, we're going to talk about how to think about organization, the tools that you can use, and how to give yourself a little bit of grace in case you can't get organized the way that you want. If you can see here, I'm in my office. There is a filing cabinet that doesn't have my stuff. It's actually my roommate's stuff. And then there's I think that's the printer. Still works, and there's shelves, and my roommate's really good about labeling everything. I use her office, which we convert also into a guest room or a bedroom. It's a lot of fun, actually. Let me show you guys right here. There's the fold-out couch, and I put the map of the United States on the couch. It's not in the back of the wall and a bit of a distraction. I'm from New York, which is, I think... Where is New York? Am I holding the... Yeah, this is New York, somewhere right here. All right, organization. I had this conversation recently with my roommate, and this is something that also comes up with my brother a lot. Both my brother, my roommate, and I suffer from ADHD, so it's really difficult for us to be focused, but when we focus, we're hyper-focused. Think about it like you're picking berries, and you're not really sure, like there's a lot of berries, and or mushrooms. And you want to just like pick, you're having a hard time focusing on the berries and the mushrooms because you're distracted by the squirrel and the forest and everything, right? Until somebody tells you we're looking for this special type of mushroom and it's orange, and then you become hyper-focused. Or you're in the berry situation, I'm going to go ahead and find the really big, large berries, because if I have more larger berries, I could actually bend over less because I could fill up my bucket faster, and I don't have to spend hours berry picking. For those of you that don't know berry picking, it takes a few hours, and you're in the forest all day typically, and your hands become purple. So we used to do this when we were little children. If you ever find yourself like thinking about organization, you're actually probably spending your day trying to get organized. And I encourage you to time yourself how long you're taking to organize. So one of the best tools for organization is Trello. I don't know if you ever heard of Trello. I use it. It's a team management system. You could also organize your tasks. And I wake up in the morning, and first thing I do is, I prepare coffee, and then I look at my Trello. Sometimes I meditate, sometimes I don't. Sometimes on my phone. I'm not super strict in the first hour of when I wake up. It depends on my creativity. So I go on Trello, and I have a trick. So it's 7 to 10 tasks a day, but that's for people who are highly organized. Now, some people can get done 20 tasks in a day, depending how large and small, but 7 just seems like a good number that works for me. For those of you that are struggling just to even get 3 done, I encourage you to do the harder ones first, because by the time you get to the easier ones, it's going to be easier for you to do. There's a thing also, my brother and I are talking about this with organization, something called executive dysfunction disorder. And that's when you really have a hard time getting organized. And it's similar to ADHD, but it's different. And I encourage you to look it up. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really explain the symptoms, but a lot of people with executive dysfunction disorder, which I think my brother has, they really cannot organize their tasks or to-do lists. When you're organizing, and especially if you have ADHD, you have to write it down, otherwise you're going to forget, because everything happens in our working memory, and if we don't write it down, we forget it. Here's another trick. When it gets hard, understand that your brain doesn't have a way of wanting to do it, justifying why you want to do that hard task, unless you reward yourself. Our brain is a feedback loop, and we want to reward ourselves. Important here is telling yourself, can I do this hard task and reward myself? For me, the biggest pleasure and one of my poisons is coffee. I have a coffee in the morning, and I can really get into my tasks. And then in the afternoon, I have a coffee so I can complete my afternoon tasks. And I always do the harder things first because in my brain I go, I can reward myself with coffee. At some point, usually beyond like 7 tasks, I'm just not going to do it. And this is the part in the video where we talk about grace. If you are really upset with yourself for not being organized, enslaving your mind because you think about the problem rather than the solution. My roommate said, forget this, I can't organize, the tools are all confusing. So she's on Sintra, which is an AI tool, and it's your AI assistant. Also, that software has a lot of capabilities. She gave me a code, so I'm going to go try it out and see how the AI assistant works, because maybe it's going to help me become more organized. Really, the practical advice here is figuring out like where your energy is throughout the day. And if you have the high energy, you start doing the harder tasks first. And always make sure to reward yourself, because this is like super important. If you don't reward yourself, it just feels like work, and who wants to do work unless it's super fun. Speaking of coffee, I'm already thinking about it, so I lost my train of thought. A couple of announcements here too. For those of you that may or may not have seen my lives, on Monday I host lives 6 p.m. and we do a Q&A, and recently I got the idea to do interviews, so I will have a new playlist. I'm super excited for you to check it out. You can just take a look at the current playlist that we do, the Q&A with Alice. It's for you to just ask me questions and for me to find out where you're at, in life. This channel is really about having the motivation, inspiration, and the strategies to get by and get by with life, and like make it whatever your goal is, to actually make those goals a reality. It could be more happiness, more success, more love, more money, whatever it is. It's a way for us to connect and really talk about those challenges. So I really appreciate you for joining me on this journey. It's been 8 months that I've been on YouTube, and I look forward to see what happens. So thank you for joining today and listening today. I really appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, I appreciate those comments, so please leave them. And as we always close at the end of these videos, do the best that you can every day.